welcome to Our Family Bee.
I'm Brandon.
I'm Brigitte, and today we're going to talk about how to find the one.
Have you found the one?
Are you the one?
Do you know how to find the one?
If you want to know, then let's go.
Today we're going to talk about how you can find the one. If there is a one? Is there such a thing as a one?
Do you think there's only one person for every person out there?
I'm going to tell you after I remind you that if you like what we're doing, you should go ahead and click subscribe right there and click the bell too so you don't miss any of the notifications.
Also, follow us on social media at Our Family Bee Social, and you can check out our blog, which is ourfamilybee.com.
Okay, so the one.
The one. So when I was in high school, I heard this theory that, there's only one person for every person out there.
Like
and
the perfect person. Like you could marry someone else, but there's a perfect person.
Yeah, and then I heard the theory busted, because all it would take is one person out there to pick the wrong person to marry, and they screwed up the entire line.
And then it's dominoes.
Yeah, because then someone else is gonna have to choose the wrong person.
Number two.
Wrong person.
Yeah.
And it's just gonna mess up all of generations to follow.
Yeah, a buddy of mine who's also a pastor, I once heard him say, and I stole it because I love it. You want to know if you found the one or not? Are you married to them? Yeah? They're the one. That's it. Because they're the one that you committed to be with before God forever. Because we actually don't believe that there's just one perfect person suited for you. We believe you perfectly commit to one person.
Yeah, we believe that marriage is very intentional, and that in order to have a great and thriving marriage, it takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
And it's fun work, but it's also very hard work. And
it's really hard.
Especially when there are hard seasons in life, and it just is not going to be picture perfect in the movies. So when talking about the one and things you should think about when trying to decide if this person is right for you, that I'm sure you already have in your mind if you're not already married, there are things that you should think about that we thought about at the beginning, or at least that I thought about when we were dating.
Well, there are a lot of things you think about.
Well, yes, but there were things that were negotiable, and there were things that were non-negotiable. And the non-negotiable things are very foundational and important, and I think we can narrow it down to 3 things, which we'll get into. And then there's the negotiable things.
Yeah, which matter, but how tall are they? For instance, things like that. Like you said, foundational.
If we use this analogy, let's say, you have your spine, which would be non-negotiable things. So if you have these 3 things that we're going to talk about, and one of them is not there in that person, it's like if you break part of your spine. You're going to be laid up in bed for a while. But
possibly forever.
If we're talking about negotiable things, you could call them ribs. So if you break a rib, which I have broken 5 before, you still can move and function. It's not the same as if you break your spine, but you're gonna feel it, but it's not necessary like the spine.
And everything else hangs off of these. So
yeah, everything hangs off the spine, even your ribs.
Yes, literally.
I know.
Oh. So the 3 spine issues, the 3 non-negotiables that are part of every successful marriage are
faith, character, and future. For us, faith is foundational.
Yeah.
Everything that we do stems from what we believe.
Yeah.
So for us, we're Christian, and we believe what the Bible says, and everything that we decide and the way we live and talk is basically based on our faith. So when I was looking for somebody, that was number 1, the thing that I needed to have in common with them. If your belief systems are not the same, it can be hard to be unified on important issues later in life, such as kids and where you want to live and how you're going to raise those children and how you're going to care for your elderly parents and just all of the things that are going to come with life. It's going to be hard to be unified if you're coming from different perspectives.
Yeah, because regardless of what your belief system is, you have some type of worldview, the lens through which you see everything in life. It informs the choices you make, especially those big ones like you were just saying, the how many kids, or how do we raise those kids, and how do we discipline those kids, and how do we decide if one of us gets a great job offer, or all these big things are based off of our worldview, which no matter how you slice it, boils down to what is our faith, what is the basis for all of our decisions in life. The second non-negotiable is character, What is this person's character? What's the makeup of who they are? Are they kind or humble? Are they a person of integrity? Because this is the stuff that's gonna matter when they get old and everything starts sagging off of their face, or you're sick and you're puking out your guts in a hotel room in Orlando on like your first or second anniversary because you got crazy food poisoning because you decided to go to the restaurant that everybody advertised as a chicken and waffles place, and when they didn't have any chicken, you got the pork chop like an idiot, and of course you got food poisoning. Hypothetically.
It happened. It was terrible. Or when you're pregnant and vomiting in the toilet and all the stuff that happens with pregnancy, you want someone who loves you for who you are, not for what you look like or for what you bring to the table as far as your actions.
Pregnant woman. Yeah, the character, your integrity is what's gonna matter in the end. So all the other qualities of that person are not gonna be that important. How do they act when stuff hits the fan? How do they act when things are hard? This is what you need to know. It's the intrinsic parts of who they are, not just what they do and how they are when certain people are around.
There were a few things that I noticed about your character when we were dating.
Okay.
And those were things like...
Goofy?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
But the fact that you had integrity and that always telling the truth was very important to you, that you were hardworking, and that I knew no matter what, even if we both lost our jobs and we needed money, you would go work at a fast food restaurant just so we could have some money to pay the bills. Like nothing was too below you to do to provide for us and for me and our future family. And also things like that you were kind, and you were kind to your mom, you were kind to people, even when you didn't think anyone was looking, you were the same person to everyone you met.
I don't know how to respond to that. Thanks, baby.
Things like, is this person teachable? Are they humble?
Yeah.
Are they trustworthy? Because for me, I needed to be able to know that I could trust who you are and what you said, and that your actions would back that up. And that's something that is so important, because you want to be able to know that you're going to trust this person with your life, because you're committing to them, and with the lives of your future children if you're going to have them, and also with your finances, because I don't know, I would be so hurt if you always went behind my back and like bought things and like spent
like
our
Taco
money.
Bell?
No, like spent things like that were big purchases that we didn't agree on, you know, because maybe that's more important to you and not to me, because we have different perspectives on it and we're not unified.
Yeah.
And so I needed to be able to trust your character, that you would be honest with me all the time, even when it's hard, because we've had times where it was hard to be honest, and yet we were, because our character is something that we each felt like was good. And not that we're perfect by far, because Lord knows we are not, but who we are and who God created us to be was something that we were looking for in each other.
What she said.
Ditto. The third thing that would absolutely be a non-negotiable when you are trying to find the one would be your future.
Yeah.
Your future plans.
Yeah.
This would include things like, where do you want to live? And I'm not talking specifics and like, I want to live on this street.
Right, yeah.
But do you want to live in a big city? Do you want to live on a farm? Do you want to live in the suburbs?
In Tokyo. Whatever.
So where you want to live, and also things like kids. Like, do you want kids?
Yeah.
Are kids like an absolute necessity? Like, I really want them. If I can't have them, I'm going to adopt. You know, because if someone says they absolutely do not want kids and you really do want kids, it's going to be really hard in the future to prevent bitterness and like anger and resentment, because you aren't unified on such a major non-negotiable issue.
People spend way too much time, we think, on looking for someone who is compatible in personality and in their interests and what excites them. Those things are great, but they're not going to get you through sickness and health and plenty and in want, as long as you both shall live. Those things are going to get you through a great date.
No.
The thing that's going to get you all the way, the long distance, is your future, is the direction you're going for the rest of your life. I remember before we were dating, we went out to dinner on my birthday. Which is, of course, what you normally do with girls that are your friends. You go out alone on your birthday, obviously. So we went out to dinner, And we were talking, and I asked, like, what are your goals? What do you want to do for your future? Where do you want to be? And what did you say? You were like, I want to be a wife and a mom, basically.
I was like, I don't really have any career goals per se. I just want to be a wife and mom. I'm a homebody.
And like, I had never sat and thought, man, I want a woman who just says she wants to be a wife and mom. Because actually, I love that she has a job. I love that she's smart and industrious and like has a whole bunch of certifications and more education than I do. Actually, I love that about her. We both wanted family above all the other stuff. And in that instance, something shifted in the way I thought about this girl. Because it doesn't matter so much where you come from, it matters where you're going. Right, so we came from completely different types of families and types of backgrounds and life experiences, but we were headed in the same direction. It doesn't matter if you come from Florida and they come from California. If you're both headed to Texas, you're gonna go closer to each other all the time along the way.
Yeah, you know, the fact that we both wanted family above a lot of stuff really did align us in this non-negotiable. So like if I was really career driven and that was like the most important thing to me, but you really wanted a family, well, it might not have worked out. Like there could have been a lot of like heartache and strife as we would probably constantly fight over, well, when are we gonna start having kids? And like we even still did have, you know, some arguments over that. But the fact that we both wanted it to begin with was great because it is a non-negotiable in our opinion.
Yeah, and we both wanted the same kind of life. We were both headed in the same direction to the same place. Eventually, you can have a conversation about how fast you drive the car or what luggage you bring with you, but if you're going to the same place, you're going to be okay.
And the fact that we both did not want to live in a metropolis was also very important. And
give me a few acres and some chickens and a goat.
That's what I want. I want a garden.
You can totally take care of a garden, babe.
You can totally take care of chickens and acres of land that you have to mow.
But at least we want the same things. But there are some negotiables that people often treat as a non-negotiable, and you should not do that. Here are some of what they are.
If you want to find the one and have a successful marriage, there are things that I think society sometimes says are non-negotiable when they are really negotiable. To me, these are things like physique and perhaps how much money you make.
Or even on people's lists, I've seen things like eye color or
hair color,
bicep circumference.
As far as like physique goes, it is negotiable, but there were actually a couple things that I really wanted and really prayed for, and that was someone that's taller than me.
And I did want someone shorter than me, because if they're taller than me, they're super tall, and that's okay for them, but maybe it wasn't my preference.
And I just wanted someone with short hair. It didn't matter how exactly short, but I didn't want them to have hair longer than me, because it just wasn't my preference. So it's not that you can't have preferences, but I didn't have these things set in stone. You know, I was very open to whatever the person looked like that God was going to bring to me.
Although she did have a list, and if you want to see a video on that list, go ahead and let us know in the comments below, because we will make that if this video gets 100 likes.
That's a lot.
100 likes.
Actually, so I wrote the list when I was 15 or 16, and he fulfilled every single thing on the list at 26. And a negotiable, I think, is how much money the other person makes. Some people have this idea of, I want to make this amount of money before I can get married or before I can have children or whatever. And I think, yes, it's important that one have a job and be able to hold a steady job, you know, and it also will tell you a lot about their character and their integrity and how they respect authority. And if they don't respect people that are over them in whatever job they're in, it's very unlikely that they'll respect you in your marriage when you have disagreements. So there was not a number that I was like, this person that I'm gonna marry has to make a certain amount of money before I say yes. But it was, are they hardworking? Are they teachable? Are they looking for job opportunities if they want something different? You know, that's something that I feel like some people think, oh, they need to be really established. And you actually just took a job 3 months before we got married. 4 months.
That also is a whole other story. That's like call into ministry.
But
Yeah.
it was not something that I was worried about because
No,
though
and she
you
told me
weren't
to take it.
Because though you weren't established, I knew
Yeah.
your character and I knew I could trust you. And I knew if it didn't work out, he would do whatever to get a job to help us pay our bills because he was going to provide. And that is something I trusted in.
I can flip a mean burger.
You can.
Like this video and stay tuned for more marriage videos because we're going to do an entire series coming up on personality types and relationships. So whether you're married or just dating or just talking to somebody, how do your personality types affect the way you interact with one another? We're a great example of how to look at this and not to look at this because pretty much every single personality assessment you can do, we are the exact opposite of each other.
And we'll talk about how knowing each other's personality types and by doing these surveys, you can learn how to better communicate with each other
Yeah.
to have a more successful relationship.
Yeah.
Like this video, give it a thumbs up because it really helps out our channel.
Yeah.
And comment down below, how did you know you found the one?
Yes,
if
we
you're
do want to
married?
know that.
Or if you have any more questions about relationships, then go ahead and ask those too because maybe we'll make a video on it. Thanks for watching, and until next time, don't forget, life is better together.
Today we're going to be talking about all